Welcome back to Harvey's Garage. I am not Harvey. So we are back on our 2009 Mini Cooper, and today we are going to do the oil job, and I'll show you guys what we are going to use to do the oil change. Alright, for this project, need a 27mm socket with some adapters or whatever you want to make that work, but it's going to need to be pretty long. You're going to need a 8mm socket, a pick, a pair of needle nose or pliers or something. You're going to need a washer for your oil filter. I'll show you these later in the video, but a crush washer will come with your oil filter kit. And then I've got 5W40 synthetic Eurocar, and you are going to need some coolant antifreeze for this job, so you might want to stop if you don't have all of this stuff. And then I always like to have a magnetic dish, a couple rags, and something to drink. Other than that, this is all you need, and I'll put a list in the description. Alright, different components for the oil change. Here's your dipstick, your filler cap, set that off to the side, and thank you, Mini, because again, let's make things as hard as we can. Way back there. Maybe you can see it down there. You see a little hex way down there. That is your oil filter, which means we're going to have to take the reservoir out. This is an aftermarket one. Most of them are like just a opaque plastic, kind of like the windshield wiper bottle. But we're going to have to take that out to get down in there enough to pull the oil filter housing out. And then the last part is underneath. I already started putting stuff in place. There is your oil pan, and back here is your oil plug. So I've already got this jacked up, so you got to jack it up so you can get underneath it. And then I ran it for a while, so it's a little bit warm, so we're going to pull that plug and let it drain. All right. So we got our 8mm hex. Just gotta get in there. And get it all over the place. Nailed it. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this down so it all drains evenly. But what I also wanted to show you was I got a pan on the other side, because when we take out that reservoir, some of the fluid's going to spill out. So just get you started here. Alright, something about the plug. So the new oil filters, I really get whatever's cheapest on Rock Auto. So there's the part number for the oil filter. These mini oil filters are these cartridge type, and we'll kind of get down to that. But it comes with an O-ring and a crush washer. Now, I think it might have something to do with the condition of the pan because it's so dented and beat up. But that crush washer, it either the ones that come with these filters don't crush enough, or the pan's bent enough that it leaks. So I ended up getting these, and what these are is, this is like a rubber in the middle of a metal seal, and this is the one that was on it that was keeping it from leaking. So after a use, it's pretty distorted, but I've got a new one. We'll just push it down on there, and then when you tighten it in, that rubber gets pushed on and it seals it up. Sometime in the future I'll replace the oil pan, and then maybe we won't need these anymore. But I got these on Amazon, and specifically I believe these are the M14s. I measured and did some mathing, and pretty sure that they're the M14s. But this kit's pretty cool. I've now used this on a couple of my vehicles and lawnmowers and stuff, and it always stops the leak. So now the car should be done draining, so we'll go ahead and put this back in. Alright, so we gotta take this reservoir off. This is the 8mm socket. Now's where it's probably going to get messy. There's a hose that connects as the return for this. Let's make sure. Try to get this lined up as best we can. There we go, I think we got it now. Sure. It's not hot, but it is pressurized a little bit, so. Spilt some. All right. There we go. Come on. And that one's off. Now, bottom. I don't know if you can see this. There is a clip that needs to come out. It's not supposed to come all the way off, I don't think, but then pull straight down and mess everywhere. That's what we're looking for. All right, let's see if I can find a place to put this. Another drip tray. All right. So let's get you here. All right. So here's what we had to take off. And where's the other one? The other hose must have dropped down in there a little bit. But now that we have those off, right there there is our oil filter. Let me get the tooling for that. Alright, so we've got our 27 millimeter, and since that's a 1/2 inch ratchet, we've got our adapter down to 3/8, a long extension, our 3/8 socket, so we'll get on there. Just goes right over the end, and alright, so now that's off. So and there's your filter with the cartridge inside. Alright, so you just pull the cartridge out of it. Set that over there. It's pretty grody. Alright, and then there is an O-ring that goes around right here, which comes in the kit. Oh, good, I spilled stuff out. Alright, and then we're just going to use our pick. We're going to get underneath. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. So up underneath. Making an absolute mess. God awful mess. Alright. See there, old one's off. Know that there's too much wrong with it. It doesn't look like it was nicked or burnt or anything, but we've got a new one, so may as well use it. So let's lube it up. Got plenty of oil spilled all over the place here. Make it nice and slick for us to put it back on. And then just goes over. Alright, it's going to go over, and then it's going to sit in that channel right there. And then put the filter in there, and then we should be done. All right, so we're like 30 seconds later when I can use two hands. So that is on there, and the filter is in place. It can go either way. It's omnidirectional. But yeah, this old one, I don't really see. I mean, it looks dark, but I don't see anything. There's no chunks, it's just darker. So we'll throw that away, and maybe we'll clean it up and keep that, I'm not sure. So normally I like to fill my oil filters, but because this cartridge goes down, yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. So this goes down in here. Get even on there. Start by running it on with your fingers, because then you can be sure that it's not cross-threaded, because it's just plastic. And then at some point it'll get too difficult to tighten it down with your fingers. And then again, it's plastic, so gently run it down. All right, and snug. And there she is. Now, we just need to put So this goes in here. This shouldn't have come out. So this is just supposed to pop out. And then you drop the bottom of your reservoir in there. And I'll have to find, well, that's probably the hose because it's leaking all over the place. But we'll find that other hose and hook it up to the side, and then that part will be done. As you can see, it's in. So I thought I hit record. I didn't, which is a shame because I was witty, I was funny, I told lots of jokes, they were amazing. Not really. I did spill it all over the place. So it's probably best to like dump it in a container that you can use again and then put it in dry and then refill it. But I spilled some. I mean, there's still a bunch in here. So I didn't spill all of it, but see, there's some in there, but I spilled a bunch. Again, not all of it. So we'll refill that with our coolant when we're putting the oil in. But now we're actually going to get to the oil plug. It was still draining when I went earlier. Okay. So we're back down here. Scoot this out of the way. Oh, we're still slowly dripping, but that's fine. And remember, element of this is a crush washer, so I'm gonna have to. All right. So snug, but not too snug. All right, so now it's fill up time. So I've got the Castrol Edge. It's the Eurocar 5W40. If you look in the book, it says 530, but I had a hard time finding anything that wasn't European, that wasn't 540. But then I looked online a little bit and they said that 540 was the right weight, so I don't know. We'll give 540 a shot. This engine's been eating a ton of oil, so I don't know that it really matters much anyway. And then the BMW antifreeze, there's like a green, like this is a teal top, there's like the yellow, the blue, but this one gets the BMW teal. And then grab yourself a funnel. I realize that one's absolutely ridiculous, but my one I usually use is really dirty for whatever reason, and I kind of just want to get this done. So this is like 4.8 quarts is full, so let's give it a shot. So our oil's in, our coolant's in, so now we just need to run it, let it get up to temperature, and then check our oil, wait for it to cool down to check the coolant and make sure the levels are good. Add if needed. Make sure you don't over service, and that should be it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, just ask and I should get back to you in a day or two. And I hope you like this video from Harvey's Garage.